From stories around the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A pleasant evening. I'm Dilanjali Ananda.
I'm Moving Head Tiarachi, and here are today's headlines. The President appoints a committee to study the Easter investigation report and the report of the Oversight Committee on National Security. The court decides to take up the central bank bond scam case on March 18th. COVID vaccine has been given to 233,472 people. A US rover lands on Mars. Sri Lankan scientists lend support to the NASA operation. Now on to those and more stories in details. On today's top story, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has appointed a committee to study the Easter Sunday attacks investigation report and the Oversight Committee report on national security. Minister Chamal Rajapaksa has been appointed as the chairman of the committee. The committee is entrusted with studying in depth about the details and recommendations of the report of the Presidential Commission that required into the Easter Sunday attacks and the Oversight Committee report on national security presented in the Parliament, and to report on the actions to be taken. Other members of the committee are Ministers Johnston Fernando, Udayagam Mampila, Ramesh Patirina, Prasanna Ranatunga and Rohitha Abegunawardena. The Presidential Commission report and the Oversight Committee report on national security have been sent to the committee by the Presidential Secretariat. Director General of the Legal Affairs of the Presidential Secretariat, Harigupta Rohanadira, has been appointed as the Secretary to the committee in order to provide facilities and to direct other activities. The committee has been instructed to hand over its report before March 15th. The Colombo 3-judge bench High Court ordered today to take up the central bank bond scam case on the 18th of March. The Attorney General filed the case against 10 persons, including former Central Bank Governor Arjun Mahendran, during the time of the previous Good Governance government. The case was called today before Justices Champa Janaki Rajaratna, Damit Totawata and Namal Balala. Appearing for the Attorney General's Senior State Counsel Vasanta Pereira requested for another date since the Additional Solicitor General and Deputy Solicitor General who conducted the case are unable to appear before court. Accordingly, the judge bench ordered to take up the case on the 18th March. The case has been filed under the Public Property Act for incurring a huge loss to the government due to the Treasury bond auction on 27 February 2015. The Attorney General has filed a case under 23 indictments when the case was called. First accused former Central Bank Governor Arjun Mahendran and the 10th accused Ajahan Gadia Punchiheva did not appear before the court. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has paid homage to the sacred tooth relic at Sri Dalada Maligava in Kandy today. The Prime Minister arrived in the Kandy historic Sri Dalada Maligava this morning. He was received by Devadana Nilame Pradeep Nilangadalla. Thereafter, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa worshipped the sacred tooth relic at Sri Dalada Maligava. The Prime Minister visited Mahanayaka of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Siddhartha Sumangala Thera. After receiving his blessings, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa called over on the Anunayaka Thera of the Malwatu chapter, Venerable Dimulkumbure Sri Saranankara Vimala Dhamma Thera, and the Anunayaka Venerable Niyangoda Vijitasiri Thera. After that, the Prime Minister arrived at the Asgiri Mahaviharaya. The Prime Minister called over the Mahanayaka of the Asgiri chapter, Most Venerable Varakakoda Dhamma Siddhi Sri Panchananda Jnanaratna Siddhana Thera, and received his blessings. Chief monk of the Badulu Muthiangana Raja Mahavihara, Venerable Dr. Muruddeniya Dhammaratana Thera, was also present on the occasion. Prime Minister visited the Asgiri Gedige Mahaviharaya and met Anunayaka Thera of the Asgiri chapter, Venerable Veduruye Upali Thera, Chief Monk of the Rangiri Dambalu Raja Mahavihara and Committee Member of the Asgiri Sangha Council, Venerable Dr. Godagama Mangala Thera, was also present at the occasion. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa went to Asgiri Mahavihara Pirivena to receive the blessings of the Deputy Registrar of the Kandy Asgiri Mahavihara, Venerable Narampannave Ananda Thera, at the temple. Thereafter, the Prime Minister arrived at Peradeniya Gatabe Rajo Parivaranamaya And the Prime Minister received the blessings of the chief incumbent of the temple, Kappetiyagoda Siri Vimala Thera. State Ministers Diluma Munugama, Central Province Governor Lalit Ugamage, and Basnaika Nilame of the Kandy Vishnu Devalaya Mahen Ratwate were also present on the occasion.
Vaccination in the Western Province took place today under the COVID-19 vaccination program. The Health Minister says 233,472 persons had been given AstraZeneca vaccine so far. The vaccination program took place today for the 22nd day. 23,067 have been vaccinated yesterday. COVID vaccine is being given to the employees of Sri Lanka Ports Authority. About 13,000 are to be given the vaccine. For the 5th day today, COVID vaccine was given to members of Parliament at Narahenpita Army Hospital in Colombo. Giving AstraZeneca vaccine to Moratua, Borupana and Angulana North Grama-Niladhari divisions commenced on the 17th of this month. Moratua Medical Officer Dr. M.M. Tilakaratna said that 800 were given the vaccine yesterday. Vaccination took place at Timbirigasyaya Field Police Headquarters today. Giving the first 1,000 vaccines received by the police has commenced. Accordingly, vaccination of officers of the CID and officers on duty in high-risk areas are being given the vaccine. People employed at Narahenpita Special Economic Centre were given the vaccines today at the centre. Manager Prashant Rajapaksa said that 500 persons would be given the injections. People in the villages near Avisavela and Sitavaka export processing zones were given vaccines today. 200 are to be vaccinated under the first phase. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva says that no Sri Lankan will reject to get the vaccine from the army hospitals, and the persons who are not Sri Lankans can do so. The Army Commander mentioned this as a response to a statement that a group of Tamil parliamentarians, including Tamil National People's Front and Tamil National Alliance, were not prepared to get the vaccine from the army hospital. The Army Commander said that it was decided to give the vaccine to public representatives to protect Tamil people in Jaffna and other areas. The number of recoveries from COVID-19 has reached 72,566. It is a percentage of 92.24. Another 5,672 patients are under treatment. 15,405 have left the hospitals from the beginning of this month after recovering from the virus. Another 743 persons have left hospitals after recovering from the virus today. Another 248 COVID-19 patients were detected in the island today. All of them were close associates of the Paliagoda cluster. 15,386 PCR tests have been conducted yesterday. A total of 1,987,821 PCR tests have been conducted so far in the country. 8 more COVID-19 related deaths were reported yesterday. The victims were residents of Dematogoda, Colombo 8, Meegoda, Ridi Maliyadda, Dekatana, Colombo 10, Keselwatta and Vattala areas. A private university have commenced a program to provide automatic sanitizer equipment to schools free of charge. State Minister Pyal Nishanta was briefed about the equipment recently. Symbolically, a stock of equipment was handed over on the occasion. The equipment uses sanitizer liquid efficiently and has the capacity to measure body temperature automatically. Police said that 16 persons who ignored health protective measures were arrested during the 24 hours ended at 6 a.m. today. 3,180 have been arrested so far in connection with the offence.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Director General of the Health Services, Dr. Hemantha Herath, said that the corona vaccination program is scheduled to be launched in the Western Province next week. He said priority will be given to those groups who are associated with the public more and have a higher risk of getting infected with the virus.
We know that this process will be continue in the coming days as well, especially focusing on the Western Province and the frontline staff of different organizations who are dealing directly with public and having a high risk of getting infected as well as transmitting the disease to the others. So therefore, the immunization programs are carried out in these places, including the Colombo Airport, Colombo Harbour and several other high-risk areas where the clusters have been reported frequently, and in these places we are continuing the vaccination program. And there has been certain inquiries about the adhering to the health guidelines after vaccination. I need to emphasize that the development of immunity takes time. And most of the time, the first level of immunity will be developed around 4 weeks after the first dose, but the maximum expected immunity will be developed a few weeks after getting the second dose is given. And until such time, the risk of getting infected and getting complications will not reduce. And therefore, it is very important everybody who has got the vaccination, especially the first dose and even after the second dose, need to adhere to the health guidelines that we have stipulated, and thereby firstly preventing people getting infected and also preventing spreading the infection by already infected people. And also we have got reports, some people have got the disease, which is normal, because according to the available information also, the main protection given by the current vaccines is protecting the people from death and complications, and therefore until sizable population is immunized in the country, the transmission will be continuing. So that is why we always emphasize everybody to adhere to the health guidelines and make sure that you are not getting infected and you are not spreading the infection to others. We are also planning to purchase approximately 1 million doses very soon, and we have already received 500,000 doses, and probably depending on the circumstances there will be more vaccines purchased depending on the availability of such vaccines. And we are expecting 264,000 doses of vaccines through the COVAX facility, and we are at least during the first round, a minimum of 750,000 people would be immunized at this round. But depending on the availability of vaccines, these numbers will be increased. And we will continue the vaccination program as and when the new stocks of vaccines are arriving in Sri Lanka through different sources.
NASA in the US has successfully landed a robot vehicle on Mars. The support given by scientists with Sri Lankan origins for the success of the space operation is significant. Mars, which is the fourth planet of the solar system, is identified in the name of the god of war due to its red color. Humans were keen to explore Mars planet since the time they commenced exploring outer space. The reason was scientific opinion of the possibility of life in the planet. Although the Soviet Union tried to send spaceships to Mars 4 times since 1960, they were not successful. NASA has the honor of sending to space Mariner 4, which went closer to Mars. Since then, the US, Russia, China, Japan, India, United Arab Emirates and Britain has conducted 49 Mars exploration operations. The spacecrafts launched by China and United Arab Emirates reached Mars this year. Perseverance Mars exploration operation added new to the list. NASA sent Perseverance robot vehicle in Mars in July last year. It traveled 470 million kilometers and reached Mars at 11 p.m. last night Sri Lankan time. The vehicle, which went through the thin atmosphere of the Mars landed rover using a parachute and 4 small rockets. The rover landed on Jezero crater, which is considered to be a lake filled with water earlier. Until the exploration vehicle landed on Mars, there was silence in the NASA operation room. With the signals of rover landing successfully, the scientists were overwhelmed with happiness.
Safely on the surface of Mars.
However, with strict health regulations, they celebrated the happiness by keeping the distance.
Through Mars upon orbiter.
Rover has sent several images of Mars to Earth. The scientists say they are very clear. There is a helicopter drone fixed to rover. The scientists hope to get land images by operating them. This is the first time in history where drones are operated outside the Earth. A high contribution has been made by Sri Lankan scientists for the success of Mars explorations. The high-tech camera system, which is visible to the Earth, has been created under the guidance of senior NASA scientist Dr. Sarath Gunapala. Space science engineer Melanie Maharaj contributed to prepare electric circuit and communication equipment of Perseverance rover. The communication system, prepared by 6-member team including Melanie, is successfully functioning at present.
The Mars rover that we launched this last Thursday, we call it Mars Rover 2020. Actually, we named it Mars Perseverance rover. I was the lead engineer for electrical and telecommunication cable system, and my team with hundreds of other engineers and scientists worked really hard for the last 6-7 years to get this Mars rover launching on the right time. So last Thursday was a very, very successful, very happy day. Let's back up one mission earlier. 2012, we landed the very first, car-sized rover, and the mission of that rover was to go and find resources that we need to actually, live. So like simple, like air and water. So we found signs of water in that mission. Then this mission was then got approved, and we started designing. This mission is actually to go and find signs of life. If we find water, and maybe we will find life, and we want to see what actually happened to Mars. So a lot of people ask me why $2.something billion we spend on a car-sized robot and send it to outer space, and what benefit do we have? Huge benefit. I'm very proud to be part of that mission, working with very intelligent scientists and engineers. This is the very first Mars mission or any space mission that is going to bring rock samples and Mars samples back to Earth. So our 2025 mission is going to bring back those samples, but this mission is going to collect those important samples and just embed them in Mars. So just imagine, earlier we were very limited with the capabilities of the rover had, right? Whatever rover could detect, we just analyze and we made predictions. But imagine these samples coming to us, how much of capabilities and possibilities we will have. So this mission is very, very flagship mission for our Mars missions, and I'm very proud to be part of it.
Rover, which weighs 1 ton, looks like a tractor in its size. It's equipped with 20 cameras, 2 microphones and equipment to mine the surface. The main task of the rover is to move along the Mars surface and to gather rock samples. Dr. Sarath Gunapala told Rupavahini that a separate operation has been planned to bring them back to Earth. The contribution made by our scientists for the success of Mars operation is a reason for pride of all Sri Lankans.
Minister Chamal Rajapaksa says that plans should be made to bring down the cost of living. He mentioned this when a subcommittee meeting on National Agriculture Coordinating Committee of the Presidential Task Force for Economic Revival and Poverty Elimination met yesterday. Minister of Irrigation, Wildlife, Agriculture, Lands, Environment and Plantation Industries are included in the committee. Minister Chamal Rajapaksa is the chairman of the Agriculture Subcommittee. The minister said that farmers should be encouraged to grow export crops and pointed out that the need to allow the farmers to cultivate lands that had not been cultivated. The officials were instructed to take immediate measures to minimize the damage in agriculture and food production. Ministers Mahinda Amaravira, Mahindananda Alutgamake, S.M. Chandrasena, Ramesh Patrana, State Ministers Shashendra Rajapaksa, Sripala Gamanath, Anuruddha Jayaratna, D.B. Herath, S. Vyalendran and state officials were present on the occasion.
DIG in charge of crimes and organized crimes, Rangapriyantha Jakadi, says that there is a reduction of serious types of crimes, including shootings, during the recent past. He said that constant crime eradication operations has contributed to the reduction. However, he said that an increase of motorcycle and jewelry thefts have reported from certain areas. DIG in charge of crimes and organized crimes, Rangapriyantha Jakadi, said that one of the primary tasks of the police is to destroy organized crimes network by destroying drug rackets. He said that police have been able to minimize shootings and to eliminate organized criminal gangs. The DIG said that a streamlined process to provide financial gifts to persons who give information to police on illegal firearms is implemented on the instructions of the IGP. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board says that water supply to several areas in Colombo will be suspended for 16 hours tomorrow due to maintenance work at Ambatale Water Purification Plant. Accordingly, water supply to Colombo, Dehiwala, Mount Lavinia, Kotte and Kaduwala municipal areas, Maharagama, Boralasgamuwa and Kolonava urban council areas, Kotikawata and Mulleriyawa Pradeshya Sabha areas and Ratmalana will be suspended from 8 am to 12 midnight tomorrow. Meanwhile, water supply to several areas in Kaluthara will be interrupted on Sunday. The Water Board said that water supply to Wadduwa, Vaskaduwa, Potupitiya, Kaluthara North and South, Katukurunda, Nagoda, Bentota, Bombuwela, Pilaminawatta, Payagala, Maggona, Beruwala, Aluthgama, Darga Town, Kaluwa Modara and Moragola will be suspended from 8:30 am to 7 pm on Sunday.
Now on to sports news. Chaminda Vaas has been appointed as the bowling coach of Sri Lanka cricket team for the South Africa tour. Issuing a statement, Sri Lanka cricket has announced the appointment. Chaminda Vaas has been appointed to the post following the resignation of the Sri Lanka team's fast ball trainer David Secker. David Secker worked as the trainer from December 2019. Chaminda Vaas is appointed as the fast ball trainer for the West Indies tour. He is working as the trainer of the Sri Lanka cricket team at the Higher Performance Centre at present. Meanwhile, a training match of the Sri Lanka cricket team was played at the CCC grounds in Colombo today. It was played between Dasun Chanaka's team and Dimut Karunaratne's team. Dinesh Chandimal, representing Dasun's team, scored an unbeaten 149 runs in 123 balls. That's it for tonight's English News Update. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.